Look, I know one of the biggest bonuses of a podcast is being able to skip through things you don't want to hear about, but I would encourage you just to sit tight for just a second, because as the war in Ukraine enters month 3, it's hard to believe it's been that long, and you watch all the stories of families being displaced and lives being shattered, and you think, man, that's really sad. I wish there was something I could do about it. Here's the cool thing. You and me and all the potties could get together and actually maybe make a difference by helping families in Ukraine who have been displaced by all this violence. There's nearly 11 million people that have been forced out of their homes. And imagine that. You can't take everything with you. You've got to just pick and choose the few things you can carry as you try to get your family to safety. They say desperate times calls for desperate measures. Well, these are desperate times. That's why the Wally Show is partnering with Food for the Poor and 3,500 pastors in Ukraine and surrounding countries to help feed these people. And here's what's really cool. You can provide a meal for 25 cents, a quarter what we plug into a gumball machine. You could actually feed a child a meal. So now do some math with me. Your gift of $1 would actually feed a family of 4. Your gift of $10 sends 40 meals. Your gift of $25 will feed 100 people who desperately need it. So while this is a really sad story on the world stage, it is really cool to see the difference that a few motivated potties could make. So text the word Wally to 91999. That's Wally, W-A-L-L-Y, to 91999, and we'll send you a link to make a difference today. Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast. All the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show today. We had yesterday off because of Memorial Day. Did anybody do anything on Memorial Day? I know a lot of people do like cookouts and things like that. Did you go somewhere or do anything, Lady Rock?
Mm-mm.
Did you just stay at home?
Yeah, I did. I just ended up doing a lot of cleaning and reading.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Gavin, did you do anything with friends? Or?
We didn't do anything with friends. We did something on Friday night with our friends, but then we didn't have anyone who was in town for Memorial Day. Because I remember last year my folks were in town. This year everyone was out. So we just went and saw Downton Abbey.
Oh, nice.
And ended the day with Mamma Mia. And a lot of that was because...
Wait, Mamma Mia?
Mamma Mia.
Wait.
These were...
Where'd you see that?
Well, like at our home.
Oh, okay. I thought
not in theaters, no.
Oh, okay. I'm like, did it have a resurgence? Or
no,
something?
They were both of Haley's grandma's favorite like movies and television shows, and she passed away last year. So this was like a remember her day, which not what Memorial Day is per se, because she didn't serve, but
right.
It was just a good day, though.
Okay, well, that's good. I went mountain biking and then worked on my grill project, which was super satisfying, but super sweaty.
It's looking great.
Oh, thank you. It is. It's definitely a project and it's time consuming. But then I was trying to, not just totally ignore my wife the weekend while I worked on it, because that's not fair to her. She's got the weekend too. And so I wanted to get up and just knock it all out in one day. But then it was like, okay, well, I'll go run the errands with you. That sounds fun. We'll do that. We'll go up there too. Oh, okay. That sounds good. But then fortunately, the one thing I had a problem with with the granite that I ordered, and I had promised her we would go to the flea market. And she was like, you want to go get the granite fixed, don't you, before the flea market? I'm like, I would love to, because otherwise I'm just going to obsess about it the whole time.
Sure. And
I'm going to rush you, and it's not going to be fun because I'm going to want to get home and solve this problem. Because I need to solve problem. If I have a problem, I want to solve that problem. And then nothing is right until that problem is solved. I'm hyper focused on things like that, and that's kind of OCD-ish with some of that stuff.
You guys explained that this flea market was worse than it ever used to be.
Yes.
In the way that there were just less people / worse stuff.
Less vendors, less good stuff.
And I liked the old place better. They moved it.
Oh, okay.
Because of the soccer
Because of the
field.
stupid soccer stadium,
Woo!
Gavin. You're
I
part of
love
the
it.
problem. Yeah, the stadium's nice, but that right where the stadium sits is where they used to do all of the stuff. I knew where all the vendors were, and it was so much better. And Betty had said it was Memorial Day, so maybe there weren't as many good ones. I'm giving it one more chance. Mm-hmm. And if it's not good the next month, I'm probably going to be out.
Are you going to give it one more chance as well?
Yeah, I will. It may not be next month, but I'll definitely give it one more chance.
And it's one day?
It's a weekend.
Okay.
Last weekend of every month.
Last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still looking for something. I take my ruler with me, and I talk to
You're
one
that
guy.
guy.
I am, because I'm looking for something that I need specific sized to build an end table out of. And so I was talking to this one guy, and he had some stuff that was all right, but he's like, oh, there's a man that knows what he wants. He's got his ruler. I'm like, dadgum, you're right. I know exactly what I want, and you don't have it, sir. Stop wasting my time.
Like, I respect that. See you later.
Yeah, like that's the guy that I could say that to, and he would respect that. So I caught up on some TV this weekend.
Did you watch any more of the Stranger Things show?
No, I'm on pause on that because Marty needs to catch up with me. And then I watched Love on the Spectrum US because I loved Love on the Spectrum Australia. Oh my goodness. It's these people that are adults and they're on the autism spectrum and they're dating and trying to navigate that world. And so they are being set up with other people that have autism and stuff. And it is just one of the sweetest things. And watching how their minds work and how they learn and stuff, I love it. It's to quote my daughter, it's pure, and I love it. And
It's tender.
There's a couple of people on there that you just can't help but like, just because of the way they are. You're like, oh, I feel for you and I want so many good things to happen for you. But then I got caught up on Survivor and I'm a few episodes back.
I thought you were done with Survivor.
No, I started.
Survivor was done.
No. I started watching it this year, and I got really frustrated by it though. So they did they do the eliminations, and so the first girl on the jury was eliminated last week when I watched, and so she's on the jury, and she is black. So then last night, I'm behind. So what I watched last night was. They did a double elimination. They split the tribes in half, and then each one got to vote somebody out. So the first tribe votes out this guy, Roxroy. He's a black dude. They vote him out. And they voted him out because he was playing the game, and he was playing hard, and he was trying to switch things up, and that's why they voted him out. The end, period, end of story. That's it. So the next group comes in to vote somebody out, and this one girl, Drea, looks over and she sees, and she's black, and she sees two black people on the thing, and she's just visibly disturbed by this. And then finally goes off on a rant. She's like, just so y'all know, I have an idol and I'm playing it tonight. I'm not going to be the third black person on the jury. Oh. And so, and he just like drops this bomb and then makes it a race thing. And she just starts going off on this. And then one of the guys who's super nice and he's good at the game and he's super nice, he's a white guy. He's like, hey, I'm kind of bothered by this. I'm not a racist. And she goes, well, basically she's saying everybody is subconsciously racist on Survivor. And
that means her too?
Every white person is subconsciously racist on Survivor.
That's always the argument.
And that's why they're voting off black people. And that's why black people don't win the show. And she's just going off. And Probst allows it to happen. Probst is an executive producer on this. And so you're saying this, right? And he never, if he said anything, they cut it out. But he literally let this lady call his show racist, and then when the other guy was trying to defend his position, they either just edited all that out or he just got shut down. I don't know which. But he's like, I'm not racist at all. And I'm bothered by the fact that you're lumping me into this, And then she's like, well, I didn't say that. And,
you did.
And I'm screaming, yeah, you most certainly did. You just said that everybody is subconsciously racist and is making decisions based on that. When in this case, nothing could be farther from the truth.
Yeah.
And what I find really ironic about this is white people vote each other off all the time. And then they go, well, it's because they're a really strong player. They're good. I feared them in the game. But she couldn't even see that. Like this guy that got voted out was making moves and was trying to upset things. And they're like, we got to have this gone. We got to get this black guy out of here. We got to get this guy out of here that could upset the game. And it was so bad. And then it even escalated when she's getting worked up and the guy says, well, you're getting angry. And then it's like, don't tell me as a black woman that I can't be angry. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was so infuriated by this because it's a white, non-racist person who actually cares about race relations and actually wants to see us do better at getting along. When people start calling out race where it's not race, then you want to object to that, but you're not allowed to. You can't say boo. They shut this guy down and would not let him speak his mind because he had a differing opinion that wasn't popular. Jeff Probst already goes, come on in. And he used to say, come on in, guys. And now Survivor, well, we want to be inclusive. I might have been offending women by saying guys, so I'm not doing that. All this nonsense. Like, there has to be a time where we stop allowing certain groups, and I'm not saying don't take this as black people, but I'm saying when certain groups get agitated and they make issues that are not issues or they color them by their perspective, you have have to have the right to say, no, that's not my position either, and that has to be accepted as well. You have to be able to defend yourself and say, I get where you're coming from and how you perceive this as racist. Here's my opinion as to why it's not and why I'm bothered by that. But we've taken that ability out. So now we don't have a conversation. Now we have a one-sided conversation and then fear of being labeled something that you cannot defend. And it was just, I was so infuriated by this.
I can tell.
I'm yelling at the TV and my wife is like, okay. Because again, I'm very passionate about this stuff because all of these issues, the thing that people are missing is you're trying to push your agenda forward. The thing you're missing when you do this out of a place where it's not a real race issue, you are only hurting the overall race relations. You're only driving a wedge further between people, and because they're going to be like, well, I can't speak my mind, I can't say anything, and only your truth is right. Well, then why have this conversation? It shuts it down, and it breeds animosity, and it brings anger, and we are going to go backwards. When the pendulum swings and we swing it so far to the right or so far to the left, it takes a long time to get recentered and we go backwards for a while. And I truly believe that's where we're headed in this country with race relations, with all this gender stuff. We are going backwards now because people are controlling the narrative one-sidedly.
I am happy that they left her in the giving her 2 cents, that you got to hear it, that the audience got to hear her say that she felt like she was being a target of people being prejudiced. I'm glad that they left that in because it does bring awareness to people of color feeling like they're being...
Because they have a different perspective.
Right. And exactly. I think we need that. Now, on the other hand, I do wish that they had put the other side on the TV as well. And who's to say they did have it, but producers might have said,
cut it out.
Let's cut it out.
And guarantee you.
And they ended up on fine terms, and she completely understood, but they left that out. And so I agree with you. I think it's hard. I think what it is both sides are acting out of fear.
Sure.
People of color are acting this way because they don't want to be put back in a box. Completely understand.
Right.
And then Caucasian people are acting out because they don't want to be put into a box.
They don't want to lose what they have. Or whatever.
Right.
Exactly.
So I just wish that we wouldn't let fear get the best of us, but fear makes a lot of decisions for us.
The most interesting thing is, though, I mean, it really drew racial lines because in this group, there was 5. There was 2 white women, 1 white man, and 2 black women. So the first lady says, I have an idol, I'm playing it, I'm not going home tonight. So now you've got to choose between the 2 white women and the black woman. Do you think after this conversation, anyone was going to vote out the other black woman? Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. But this girl was actually, I was really surprised and kind of impressed. She goes, look, I have an idol too, and I'm playing it. And the reason I'm playing it is because I don't want anyone to say, oh, she got the pity vote because no one could speak and say, I'm going to vote out a black woman after all this. So she played her idol even though she didn't need to because they wanted to send this white girl home. That was the other funny thing about this. Again, with the black lady that was mad about this, they wanted to get her out of the game. Not because she's black. She has 2 idols and an advantage. Like, she's played the game well, and that was it. But then the other girl saying, well, I need to do this so I'm not lumped into a pity vote was interesting. But right then and there, it was a white and black issue, and a white person got sent home. But no one went nuts about that. No one said boo about that.
Did the other African-American people, did they seem ostracized or no?
The 2 people on the jury it was interesting because they keep cutting to them and the one guy that had just gotten voted out. So, I mean, he's obviously still upset, but he was, and the other girl, they were both like cheering her on and were like, so like facially, they're not allowed to speak. So they're like, yeah, hand pumps and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see if this changes the course of the game because there are other African-American players that are still in the game and are great at it, you know, and this girl's still in the game. Both of these women are still in the game. So it'll be interesting to see if this colors the, no pun intended, but if it colors the rest of the season or if this was one episode and everybody moves on, because they showed the white guy and the girl Drea at the end kind of hugging and like, okay, we're cool, and so like you said, Betty, they might have had a much longer conversation, but again, they chose not to show that. That would have been good to show that sort of reconciliation too.
But their platform that they've now been given, it would be great if they did like a podcast or they did an episode where those two talked it out, because I get where the man is saying, don't lump me in with these, with racism, because I'm not that way.
Because it exists. It's alive and well, without a doubt. Sadly, it's alive and well. But not everybody that's white is a racist, and that I think is the narrative that is starting to turn, and that's not healthy long term in this discussion.
Not healthy for either group.
No, that's my point. It's not healthy for anybody long term, because it's just going to make things absolutely worse. And so, anyway, what do you got, Lady Rock?
We've seen it happen before. Songs from generations ago get a second hit in popularity thanks to being used in popular movies or TV shows. And the most recent one is a song originally released back in 1985. So it's 37 years old.
Wow.
Back then, it peaked in the top 30 chart, but it never reached number 1. But thanks to the release of the popular Netflix show Stranger Things Season 4, where they feature this 1985 hit, it's seen a resurgence, and it's now number 1 on iTunes. The artist is Kate Bush.
I know the name. Like, I'm an 80s baby. Like, I grew up, high school was the 80s. I was hair metal and stuff like that.
This is more
pop.
Dance.
Yeah. Okay. I know the name, but I don't know if I'll know the song.
The song is called Running Up That Hill.
Oh, I don't know. Let me hear it.
Because I watched the whole season this weekend, and I think I know which one you're talking about.
Let me hear it.
We're running up that road, we're running up that hill, we're running up that building. See if only could.
Wow. There were some bands that featured women in the 80s. You had Roxette, you had Pat Benatar, you had
the Bengals,
the Warrior. What was
Go-Go's.
that song? I Am the Warrior by that lady. Oh, what was her name? But anyway, great options for music back
Are you
then.
saying this was one of them too?
That was horrible. Like, that is, you're running up a hill. It's like you're just narrating
When
something.
I
outside.
hear it by itself, I'm thinking, it's okay. I wouldn't definitely want to hear it 24/7, but I do know how watching a movie or watching a show can paint it in a different picture, and you're like, oh, I love it now. So, Gavin, since you're the one that's seen it,
I think that the scenes with which it is played in the show, and I won't explain that because
I haven't
you
seen it
plan on watching it, and hopefully
Wally.
sometime from now you will watch it as well. I think it goes really well with the scenes that it is showing.
Because they're running up a hill.
Someone's running.
You're running up a hill. You're running outside. You just stubbed your toe. It's very narrative.
It's much better in the movie. Like, listening to that, like, I wouldn't want to just listen to that, but it goes well with the show because the show obviously is from that era, and it just blends well.
After watching the show, do you understand why it would be like number 1 on iTunes?
Oh, no, because it's still bad.
Yeah.
So it's just tough because I don't know if people are listening to it being like, oh, this is good music, or if they're just so enthralled by Stranger Things that they want to go listen. I don't know.
TikTok has done really well at that.
Oh, yeah.
For taking a song and just breaking it again, or or for the first time.
Well, yeah, like Dreams by
Van Halen?
no,
'Cause they have one.
Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy that was drinking the Mountain Dew or something on the
he was
skateboard.
drinking the cranberry juice.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
And
Forgot
then
about
that saw
Yeah.
a big, huge popularity.
The Walker Hayes, Fancy Like is one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
yeah.
so many songs that get stuck in my head.
And there's usually a new one like every single week.
That's what TikTok is really good for. Lady Rock, what do you got in the way of birthdays today?
I've got 2 of them. The first one is Chris celebrated his birthday yesterday. yesterday. So happy birthday, Chris. Said I've been a potty for years now. I'm hoping that one day that WayFM comes to where I live in New Jersey.
Oh,
Oh, that'd be cool.
yeah, that would be cool.
And then Stephanie wanted to wish her older brother, Ryan, a happy birthday, saying this is a surprise shout out for Ryan, who is Australian, turning
Oh,
19,
crikey.
is a Star Wars and Marvel fan, and
My
enjoys
guy.
Christian music and the Wally Show podcast and Aftercast.
Nice.
So her question is, since we live in Australia, can you do your best Aussie accent?
Oh boy, you call that a knife? This is a knife. Little Paul Hogan for you from what was that movie? Crocodile Hunter.
Oh,
You call that a knife? This is a knife.
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 No.
The thing I love about Australians is they always have abbreviations for everything. Brekkie.
Yeah.
Like it's breakfast show. Like, oh, it's a brekkie. I've noticed that. So crikey is another good.
Crikey.
Crikey. You can only do like one or two words. Though.
I
You
know.
You can't stay
One
in
sentence. Because if I try to,
it. Right.
jump out of those phrases, I'll go into who knows what, British, Boston, who knows.
Well, and I was told that what I typically go to is not kind, because I like to talk about the dingo.
Oh, the dingo eats and mate my baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't say that any longer.
Right.
But I can say razor blades. That's my best Australian.
Pretty good. That's pretty
accent.
good. Remember when Luke from For King and Country had to do an American accent for his movie Priceless?
And he did great.
Yeah, he really did. He stayed in it the whole time. I've heard other people that have to do accents, and like it's not easy to do, and to do like for the length of a movie, it's just horrible, But he actually did a really good job of it. I was surprised. Although he might not actually really be. Australian. Yeah, they've been here for a long time, and I don't know. I think they just added the hey guys, let's do accents.
So who's faking it?
All of them.
Which one?
The entire Smallbone family.
But that
whole
means
family.
that if they're not really Australian,
Yeah.
then they have to fake being Australian all the time.
They do it, and they're very committed. Like it was a lie that started a lot of years ago.
Heard it here first.
And they're very committed to it, all of them.
They've created a really good storyline, though,
Oh, yeah.
too, in terms of like when they came over and the struggle at the
Oh,
beginning.
absolutely. Yeah. None of that's true. No. Oh, man. I actually talked to their dad over the weekend. Yeah, I was sad. It was sad news. He lost his mom.
bummer.
She passed away, and so kind of a quick conversation because I think Luke had posted something about it too, and it struck me too because I'm like, David's older than I am, and it's like it doesn't matter how old you are, they're still your mom or your dad, and it still hurts, and you instantly feel like a kid again, no matter how old you got. Because I know like when I lost my dad 3.5 years ago, it was. It's still think about it, to this day, and it's still hard, some days. So anyway, on that note,
You always do this.
Yeah.
Can what's her face?
Afro Circus. That's where
Polka
that's
dot, polka dot, after.
yeah, I love that from the animal thing, whatever it was.
Can what's her face take us out?
Oh, running up that hill.
Oh, sure.
We're running out of the studio.
We're running up that road. We're running up that hill. We're running up that hill.
Laura Branigan is who I was thinking of
Laura
too. She would have been great
Branigan.
too. Like, but this is
Yes.
not
In the
good.
night,
Yeah.
no control.
There you go. All right, that's gonna do it for your aftercast.
Thanks for the potty.